Okay, with it being June, we are at the point where players' stats are starting to mean something in the grand scheme of this season, and the players that I'm going to be talking about today are so far the biggest disappointments of the 2024 MLB season. And I'm not just going to talk about the worst players, I'm talking about players that were expected to contribute heavy to their teams and they are underperforming greatly. With it being early in this season, some players can attribute their faults to bad luck, but majority of the people that I'm going to be talking about today, they've either had a complete different approach at the plate which has not led to great results, or they have been trusting their process and it hasn't led to results. I will elaborate on that more as we get into it, but if you do enjoy the content analysis that Paint the Black Baseball, maybe you can give me a like and subscribe, and if not, I wish you your best in your future endeavors. And for this video, these numbers are going to be based off of Monday, June 3rd, so if someone goes on a tirade before this video comes out, then so be it, but that's what we're basing these numbers off of. And in total, there will be 7 players, and I will be going in alphabetical order by their last name. So first up on my list of players that have been disappointing, we have Randy Arozarena. And honestly, before this season, he's been one of the most consistent hitters in all of baseball, but he has fallen on dark times this year. But we also need to factor in that his BABIP is currently at 193, which is very low, so you know some bad luck has been on display. But also his line drive percentage is the lowest in his career by a mile at 17.5%, and he is barreling pitches less. But the biggest issue and why Randy hasn't had the sustained success this year is he forgot how to hit the fastball well this season, and until he adjusts and fixes that, he will continue to have these issues in the 2024 season. But I also do think Randy is way too talented for him to stay bad this long, and he will figure it out. And the next player that I'm going to talk about is also someone that has been counted on as a superstar, and that is Bo Bichette. He has been one of the most disappointing players in all of baseball, but his batting profile suggests he's not too far from what he swings normally in his career. But the main issue with Bo in 2024 versus his career is he is getting on top and under pitches more than ever, and in return he is not barreling the ball. The fact he's striking out less in his career numbers shows he's not too far off, but also something to keep in mind, he used to crush four-seam fastballs in 2023, and in 2024 it's been the complete opposite. So until he barrels more pitches and can hit the fastball consistently, it may continue to be a down season for Bo Bichette. To me, the most confusing player in all of baseball would have to be Corbin Carroll, because judging off his rookie season and postseason success, we all expected him to be a superstar for years to come, but he's had one of the nastiest sophomore slumps I've ever seen. And his batting profile hasn't been vastly different either. It's just when he's actually making contact, he is not squaring the ball. As what I said with Bo Bichette, he's getting more on top of pitches and under them and not barreling the baseball. And the craziest thing about Corbin Carroll is that his weak percentage contact is actually lower in 2024 than it was in 2023. So it's up to Corbin to stop getting on top and under balls and squaring them if he wants to get back to his 2023 form. But yeah, this is one of the nastiest sophomore slumps I've ever seen from a player, as he is just not delivering. And another person has been one of the worst hitters in baseball. We're going to be talking about Mitch Garver, who can't help himself by striking out way too much. When you are striking out at a 32% rate, it's going to be hard to be making consistent contact when you're striking out basically 1 out of every 3 at-bats. And the craziest thing about Mitch's batting profile, teams have decided that he cannot hit a slider this year, and he's seen more sliders than fastball. And when attempting to hit these sliders, he's been god awful. So until Mitch Garver is able to hit the slider, I don't think he's going to be able to adjust and be where he needs to be, because pitchers are like, here's my slider, either you're going to hit it or not, and Mitch has not hit it so far. And seeing as he just had a season where he was one of the best hitting catchers in baseball, this is really shocking to see. Next up is a player who was once a 6-WAR player, has hit some real lows in 2024, and I'm talking about Cedric Mullins. He has played abysmal for the Baltimore Orioles, and honestly the scariest thing about all of this is he has nothing really to suggest that he's been unlucky or if this will turn around. It is starting to look like 2021 was a career year for Cedric, and Mullins may never be a 30-30 type player again, but if Mullins doesn't do a complete 180, he could be finding himself out of an everyday job, or even worse, out of the big leagues altogether. So the pressure is really on Cedric Mullins at this point, and it'll be interesting interesting to see if he can save his season and potentially maybe even his career. And next up is Spencer Torkelson. If you didn't hear, he has just been sent down to the minors by the Detroit Tigers, and with him being the former #1 overall pick, pressure was always there for him to perform at an exceptional rate, and he's done everything but that in 2024. His power has evaporated and his line drive rate and hard ball percentage is just not acceptable. I think at this point, Detroit is pondering, do they need to start thinking of second and third options for the future at first base? Because as of now, Spencer is just not it. And with his expected weighted on base average being lower than his weighted on base average, and it was not much room for improvement, so the Tigers think he needs to go back down to AAA, potentially work on his swing or get some confidence back. But whenever he gets his next chance with the Tigers, if he does not deliver, I do think they're going to start potentially moving on with him. Maybe next spring training he's going to have competition for first base, but something needs to give or change for Spencer, because being a #1 overall pick, at worst you're supposed to be a good player, but being one of the worst hitters in baseball or below replacement level, it's just not good enough, and clearly Detroit feels the same way. And the last player that I'm going to be talking about is Gleyber Torres, and he is the definition of a player trying to change his approach, and his new approach is not working for him, as he is not pulling the ball within his career numbers and is trying to use all fields, and it's just not leading to great results. His power is way down across the board, and not every hitter can be like Freddie Freeman and use both parts of the field with varying power, and the sooner that Gleyber Torres learns that the best part of his game is pulling the ball and going for power, the quicker he can get back to himself and his career norm. Because as of now, he's been a complete disappointment for the New York Yankees, and he just needs to go back to swinging how he used to be. I understand players are always trying to get better or change their things, but when it doesn't work, go back to what was working. So yeah, these were the players that I have deemed as having the worst starts to the 2024 season, and given the expectations for some of these players and them not living up to it, it's really set their teams back. So I do want to hear you guys in the comment section. Do you agree with my list? Do you think someone should have been on? Should I have taken someone off this list? Where do you guys stand with these hitters, and do you think some of them are going to turn it around? Do you think this is the beginning of the end for some of these players? I would love to hear it in the comment section. But as you know, with Paint the Black Baseball, I'm going to be giving you consistent analysis. That's why make sure to subscribe, you turn on the notification bell for all my videos, and I will see you guys in the next video.